Hi there, my name is Janet Fagan and I am a teaching artist for the Frye Art Museum's Creative Aging program. Inspiration for art projects can come from all around us or even above us. And today we are going to take our inspiration from the moon. We're going to have fun creating an art project inspired by what the moon sees when the moon shines down on us. We're going to create a mobile that has two sides, and I'm going to show you the materials that we're going to use and take you through a demo. Okay, let's take a look at the materials that we're going to need for today's project. First off, we're going to use two different size circles. You can use pot lids or perhaps round plates, lids to Tupperware containers, and we're going to trace these as part of our project today. So you want to make sure that the circles that you select will fit on the paper that you're working on. You'll notice here that I have one sheet of colored paper and then two pieces of watercolor paper. We're going to ultimately be making two circles out of watercolor paper and one circle out of the colored paper. You're also going to need a pencil with an eraser, a glue stick, or you could use double-sided tape or perhaps even liquid glue that you might have on hand. You'll see here that I also have a handheld pencil sharpener just in case, and an extra eraser that's a little bit bigger in case I need that. You're also going to want some watercolors. You could use either liquid watercolors like I have here, or the cake watercolors are also fine. You'll want to have a watercolor brush on hand with soft bristles, and then a container with some clean water for cleaning your brush in between colors. A palette or a nice plate that you can use to mix colors on. Some paper towels will come in handy to blot your brush in between colors, to clean up if you need to, maybe to wipe up some extra water on your painting as you're going. A hole punch to help us with display of our project at the end. And then finally, some ribbon or string to hang our project with at the end to display it. And I would say about 2 feet should be plenty for ribbon or string. So let's take a moment now to gather our supplies. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with our demo. The first thing we're going to do is create our moon shape and our sky shape. So I'm going to grab my big pot lid. This is going to be what I trace for my sky shape. So I'm going to put it on the colored sheet of paper and then trace around the edge either with a pencil or a pen. Pens make the line a little bit easier to see. And you can go ahead and give it a good trace and cut it out, which I actually did ahead of time, so I have one here. And then you're going to do the same thing with your smaller lid and your watercolor paper. So you're just going to trace around the edge and then cut it out. And again, I did this ahead of time, so I have my shapes all ready to go. Just set that off to the side. And this is where the really fun part comes in, because you can start to brainstorm about what you imagine the moon is shining upon. What do you think the moon sees as the moon looks down from the sky? So in my neighborhood, I have noticed that at about dusk, right when the moon is starting to rise, all of the bunny rabbits come out. So I actually call it bunny hour. And that's one of the reasons that I chose bunnies to be in the sight line of the moon for my earlier piece. And I think I'm just going to keep riffing on that because I really like that idea. So I'm just going to take my pencil and I'm just going to lightly start to sketch an imaginary bunny. I have big ears and a little body, paws. And then I'm going to put out some ink. So you see, I didn't sketch very long, just a little rough outline to show me where I'm going. And I've chosen some cool colors that remind me of shadows. So purple and blue. Just putting a little dab of the liquid watercolors across from each other on my plate. And then I'm going to wet my brush in my water and pick up a little paint. And I'm going to just kind of go around my rabbit, just having fun outlining my rabbit with a little bit of ink, a little bit of watercolor ink. I'm going to get it wet and just let the paint kind of run. Maybe I want to add just a little bit more water. I'm just creating the shadow of blue behind my rabbit in the moon, my rabbit in the sky. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that for now. And I'm going to just put this aside, let it dry, and go back to my background shape and think about the other side. Now, what do I want to show on the other side of my sky? Because this, remember, this is going to be like a mobile that turns. It's two-sided. So I think I'm going to, on this side, I'm going to go back to my scraps. I'm going to go to my white scraps where I cut my circles out. And I'm just going to tear some star shapes because these can be just really free. You don't have to think too much about perfection. I'm just tearing some shapes with little points like stars. And then I'm going to glue them into my night sky. So I'm going to have some funky little stars on the back of my rabbit moon. So I'm going to start just placing these here as I make them, and I'll glue them down in a sec. And this is something, if you are working with an art partner, you can do this together. You can both take turns, either cutting or tearing, added designs for your background. You might think about other things that inspire you from the night sky. Maybe there's a particular phase of the moon that you really enjoy that you want to add into your artwork. So for now, I'm just going to go with a couple of stars, and then I think I am going to put a little crescent moon in. So I'm just going to go back to my scissors for this, and I'm going to follow the curve that I made earlier, just to give me a little bit of a helping hand. And I'm going to make a gentle crescent shape. And this is going to be, move these around till oh look, it looks like a happy face. That's kind of funny. I'm going to break that up though. And then I'm going to glue these down, and I'm just giving my watercolor a little bit more time to dry. And remember, glue sticks work just like chapsticks, so you just pop the lid off and you roll up from the bottom to make it come out more, or push it down to make it go in, and they come out purple, but they dry clear. So there's one star, another star, and my crescent. Okay, so flipping this over now, rub it back down. It's dry enough that I can flip it over and glue on the other side. Remember, you can use tape for this step. It doesn't have to be glue. Give it a good push. This is something that you can also do together if you're working as a team. One person can glue and the other can press. And then finally, I'm going to take my hole puncher and I'm going to decide where the top is. I think this is going to be the top, the way that I'm looking at it right now. I'm just going to give it a punch. And then I'm going to choose a ribbon. I'm going to cut down a little bit. And poke through the hole. And just, you can tie it in a bow, you can tie it in a knot, whatever works for you. And then you can find a window to hang it in and let it twirl and spin. And of course, don't forget to sign it. After you finish your project, it might be fun to find a great place to hang it up, maybe in a window from a curtain rod, or you could take turns with your art partner, hold it for each other, and then stand back. Watch it spin. Do you notice anything different about it when you look at it from a distance? As it turns, what comes to mind? I hope you enjoy observing your creation, and I look forward to making art with you again. Thanks very much. Bye for now.